I'm Sam. I'm from a place called Aberdeen in Scotland. I'm studying civil engineering. I was brought up being taken to church. Every single Sunday I was dragged along. Pretty safe to say I absolutely hated it. I just wasn't interested. I didn't not believe the stuff. I just didn't really care. And yeah, it just wasn't cool to go to church. But as I grew up, I sort of started to think more deeply into it, and I decided yeah, I did believe it. I did believe God existed. I did believe that Jesus died for sins. But then that was kind of that. I believed it, but I didn't act on it. Through my teenage years, life was never great. I was in a stable home and there wasn't any financial issues or anything, but I just really didn't like life. I fell into depression a number of times. I was just a really selfish person, and yeah, I was just so far from God. What I think really brought me back to God was just continually messing up and over again, and I always felt like society pushes you to be doing X, Y, and Z, like getting a good job or going out and drinking every weekend. It just wasn't satisfying to think that that's all life was. But I went from a place of hating God because my life was just rubbish to a place of realising that I just couldn't do it on my own and that I needed drastic saving grace. I was in South Africa doing some volunteer work, and we met a lady who had lost everything. Her house had burned down, and she basically had nothing left. And for 6 months her son had been sleeping on a wheelbarrow full of sand, which was just horrible for me to think about. She was the single most joyous person I've ever met in my life, and she was so thankful to God just for her existence. And I just couldn't deal with that, and I literally just broke down and cried. So that was a huge moment. But I guess God finally brought me back, or I finally sort of let God break in, I guess. I just realised that I couldn't do life on my own, and I couldn't live for myself. I'd done 19 years of living for myself every single day, and it had got me absolutely nowhere. So I just decided, I was like, my life is not my life anymore. It's a life is for God. It's a life for other people. I need to start making changes, and I need to let God in more. So yeah, I guess over the past, must be about a year, I've just made a conscious effort to sort of continually say, God, what do you want me to do? And quite honestly, God has changed my life.